All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to dive deep inside ourselves to uncover the fascinating story of the body's general headquarters, the thymus gland. Imagine a highly advanced military command center, strategically coordinating troops, sending out distress signals, and managing your defense against literally trillions of unseen enemies every single day. That is your thymus. But as we're going to see, this command center has some pretty wild quirks, shocking vulnerabilities, and secrets that science is really only just starting to figure out. To really wrap our heads around the thymus, there's this profound quote from the source material that says, "Life and death, health and disease are in higher hands." It perfectly captures the sheer unpredictability of our body's defense mechanisms. It's almost as if an unseen hand is guiding this complex biological machinery, deciding when it works flawlessly and when it suddenly just decides to power down for absolutely no obvious reason. And this captures that massive paradox perfectly. Think about it. On one hand, you have patients who miraculously survive deadly, incurable cancers because their immune system suddenly mounts this massive, unseen defense. Yet on the flip side, we see the devastating reality of people losing their lives to something as seemingly insignificant as a mosquito bite. It's just a total, baffling paradox of biology. Section 1. Secrets of the immune system. Let's trace this unpredictability right back to the biological factories inside us. Take your bone marrow, for example. It's a critical powerhouse factory, but according to the source material, the bone marrow can occasionally just randomly forget how to produce white blood cells. Imagine a massive, high-tech manufacturing plant where their workers suddenly just lose the blueprint for their most important product. When this happens, the body is left completely defenseless, and you need a highly complex, dangerous transplant operation just to replace the faulty factory. And the cost of fixing that? It's absolutely staggering. Back around 2010, replacing that faulty bone marrow factory cost roughly 10 million rupees. That's 1 crore. To put that into perspective, it really highlights just how vital and irreplaceable our natural bodily systems are, and the immense lengths we have to go to when this biological machinery inexplicably breaks down. Section 2. When protectors become predators. So what actually happens when our own defense force goes rogue? Enter the lymphocytes. These are literally the aggressive combat troops of your immune system. These fighter cells are incredible. Their whole biological mandate is to actively seek out and aggressively destroy alien invaders like germs, bacteria, and viruses. Mostly, they do exactly what they're trained to do in the thymus, but occasionally, they get a little too aggressive. Sometimes these overactive fighters get totally confused. They actually mistake our own tissues for foreign invaders and launch a full-scale assault on the outer membranes of our joints. And boom, that is exactly how severe arthritis develops, with all that inflammation and excruciating pain. The source notes that if biologists can one day figure out how to control this overzealous reaction, we might actually be able to completely eradicate arthritis. Section 3. Biggest enemy, mental stress. Now, while the thymus can fight off trillions of germs over a lifetime, it has one very dark, surprising vulnerability. If this headquarters is that powerful, what's its ultimate kryptonite? What brings it to its knees? It isn't some super virus or mutant bacteria, I'll tell you that. It's actually something we all deal with. The answer is mental stress. It acts like an inside sabotage job directly at the military's general headquarters. The source explicitly states that when things go wrong at the GHQ, the entire future of the organism is at risk. Mental stress damages these internal organs so quietly that by the time you actually see symptoms, treatment is incredibly difficult. In fact, if mental stress crosses a certain threshold, the thymus gland literally shrinks in just a matter of days. And we're not just talking about having a busy day at work here. This severe biological reaction is triggered by loud noises, intense fear, or extreme physical exhaustion. But here's the really wild part. Lingering toxic emotions, things like deep guilt, hatred, burning with jealousy, or holding on to feelings of revenge for a long time, they create the exact same physiological stress. They literally cause your immune headquarters to shrivel up, forcing your body to rely on external medical help. Section 4. The body without thymus. Let's look at what happens if this essential headquarters is completely incapacitated, say by a tumor. So even though some commando cells called phagocytes, which used to only be trained by the thymus, are now also made in the spleen, the thymus is still totally indispensable. If a tumor destroys it, it's like throwing the gates wide open. You're looking at horrible fungal attacks, causing your fingernails to literally rot away. You could get extremely painful fungal infections inside your mouth, or severe muscle inflammation, leading to debilitating weakness. The source material describes these conditions as so agonizing that a person could become entirely fed up with life itself. Section 5. Thymosin, a magical hormone. Just when things look completely hopeless, the thymus deploys its greatest secret weapon. Scientists recently uncovered thymosin, and it is basically a magical hormone produced exclusively by the thymus. When it hits the bloodstream, it's like a universal alarm bell. It signals factories like the spleen to rapidly crank up troop production, making the entire immune system highly active and mobile, ready to face massive threats. To put that into perspective, think about prolonged radiation treatments. They absolutely devastate a patient's immune cells. Production stops, biological factories shut down. It's incredibly dangerous. But then, the thymus releases this miracle hormone, thymosin, into the bloodstream. It acts as a vital messenger that instantly reboots those closed factories, rapidly replenishing the defending lymphocytes so the body can survive bacterial and viral attacks. It is literally a lifesaver in those critical moments. Section 6. An unsolved scientific puzzle. Because despite everything we've learned, the thymus still guards some major secrets. We know about its hormones and its vulnerabilities, but its relationship with human aging, that's a puzzle we still haven't cracked. The source points out a really specific timeline here. By the time we hit 50 years of age, production in the thymus almost completely halts. It takes a massive hit from the aging process, severely dropping our natural defenses and leaving us way more susceptible to the effects of getting older. But here is the crazy paradox. Even after its production drops, that thymosin hormone somehow continues to help mitigate those very aging effects. And on top of that, the thymus plays some mysterious role in actively reducing mental stress, the exact thing that threatens to destroy it. Scientists know this happens, but they are still completely baffled about the exact mechanics of how this gland pulls off these dual protective roles. It's a total enigma. This tiny organ functioned flawlessly long before modern science even knew it was there. So I'll leave you with this. If this tiny organ is basically an entire ocean of mysteries packed into a single, complex biological drop, how long is it going to take us to finally reach its deepest depth? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I hope you walk away with a found respect for the silent headquarters keeping you alive every single day. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.